Hi folks, this is just a really quick video to show you how to troubleshoot your DAP Hero collectibles in case you're having some problems, especially with Webflow when maybe you don't clearly see always the different settings that you have created. So first of all, something to keep in mind is here we're back in our section, right? This is the method instance, and we have two properties over here, the pagination offset, or two attributes, pagination offset and pagination limit. It's really important to keep in mind that pagination limit is how many collectibles you would like to show, while pagination offset is from where in the total list of collectibles you would like to start showing your user collectibles. So think of it, if you have a contract that has 1,000 collectibles and you have an offset of, let's say, 500, that means that it'll start showing collectibles from the 500th collectible. And then according to your pagination limit, 30, it'll show 30 tokens from the 500th. So that means you'll see collectibles 500 to 529. Now, if your contract doesn't have 500 or 529 collectibles, you won't see anything, right? So it's very important that this pagination offset reflects where you actually would like to start showing your user tokens in your project and have that reflect accurately, your smart contract. Another thing to keep in mind is that when you do create your own NFT smart contract, it may take some time to get indexed by the OpenC engine. The DAP Hero collectible feature is powered by the OpenC API, and that means that it will take some time for new contracts to get picked up by the OpenC project and indexed. You may even need to actually tell them to specifically index your project depending on what your needs are. So let's say that you have everything set up here properly, or you think it's properly set up. What happens if nothing happens, right? So we have a tool. I'm going to show you how you can troubleshoot your installation to understand whether or not your project is actually set up correctly, if collectibles are actually being loaded. So in this case, we do have collectibles being loaded. I'm going to close this here so I can start from scratch. So here we have collectibles being loaded. But what if no collectibles got loaded, right? We would want to understand what's going on. So what you do is you right click and you open the developer tool. So you go to inspect. So if you click on inspect, you go to the developer tools and you click on this button over here, console, and this loads up our console. So here we can actually inspect everything that's going on inside our web page. So here type DAP Hero, and you will get an object here, right? Ignore the rest of this. This is just some of it, some alpha stuff. You don't have to worry about this at the moment. So if you type in DAP Hero, you'll get this object. Click this little triangle here to open it, and you'll see a whole bunch of different features here. I'll do a video and we'll have some tutorials about how to use these. These are mostly advanced features for people who are building with JavaScript frameworks like React or Vue, or who want to use jQuery to get more advanced features. So for the moment, you don't have to worry about that. Now, instead, let's take a look at this object here, Collectibles. So if you go into Collectibles, what you see here is NFT API, and that is if you want to actually call this API directly to get assets, or Tag ID. Now, Tag ID should be a list of tokens, right? If you have everything set up correctly, and if there are tokens to be returned from the API, you will see a list of tokens here, right? And this list of tokens corresponds to the tokens that are actually displayed here on the screen, right? So what you can do is you can actually open up one of these and you can actually see the JSON metadata that represents the data about your collectible. So for example, name, number of sales, image URL, current price. This is all according to the metadata specification of OpenC. So by doing this, you can tell whether or not your setup is actually working, and then you can understand whether or not there's actually tokens being returned. If no tokens are being returned, then it's really important to check if your contract has been indexed by the OpenC API. And to do that, you would actually just go to the OpenC website, and then you would do a search for your contract address or your collection to see that whether or not they've indexed it. Then you can also go back to your HTML and take a look to see if you have the proper contract address that you wanted to use. Additionally, I recommend taking a look at the NFT example in Glitch. The link for that will be shared underneath this video in the video description. And this is where you can actually just plug in your contract address and play around with these numbers right away and understand whether or not things are working. So this is already kind of set up for you, and then it's a little bit easier to track your HTML, just because in Webflow you can tend to have a lot of different moving pieces here, and you may lose track of where your custom attributes are. So hopefully that is helpful. If you have any questions, of course, join us in our Telegram group, and we'll be happy to answer you and try and to help troubleshoot any projects. But hopefully that'll give you another tool to check in and see whether or not your project is properly set up. Thank you.